I'd like to welcome all of you to the project concerning war. Some of you who've been here a number of times at Undercurrents will probably get bored with a short introduction, but I feel obliged for those who are here for the first time to say a couple of words about Concerning War. Concerning War is a long-term project we worked on at BUC to discuss the contemporary conditions in the world in relation to what many intellectual voices around the world address as a new state or new global state of war. Concerning War consists of two parts: exhibition Soft Target, War as a Daily First-Hand Reality. Part of the exhibition is here at BUC. A much larger part of the exhibition is on another venue at Vredenburg Passage, which is part of this wonderful architecture complex close to Central Station in Utrecht. We only have some 10 more days to go with the exhibition, so for those who didn't manage yet to see it, I'd like to invite you. And then there are weekly sessions that we titled Undercurrents. While the exhibition is curated by Brigitte van der Sande, the undercurrents are prepared by Bina Choi, Dan Lakahen, and myself as a series of theoretical undertakings, encounters where we're discussing with artists, theorists, writers, scholars, what do we believe are undercurrents, what's behind the current state of new type of a warfare. Session today is titled On Mutation, with subtitle, I have to help myself on the wall, Post-Cold War and New Order. Now, while I said concerning war, a starting point of the entire project was kind of recognition of the fact that those incidents around the world and violence that's happening around the world might actually be addressed as not separated happenings, but something that's interconnected into a larger picture of a new type of warfare. I confessed last time when we talked about rhetorics and language that we had a huge problem of how to address what is it that we're actually discussing. We're kind of stumbling over dominant rhetorical figures such as war on terror, war as terror, terrorism, axis of evil, etc., etc. We had to help ourselves to understand and name the condition in kind of more clear way. And what our point of reference constantly was a notion of Cold War. You know, international law defines war as armed conflict between nation states that's quite clearly, as much as possible, of course, defined in time and space. Now, Cold War undermines already this kind of definition. It's no longer two nation states fighting each other. It's blocks of states kind of keeping each other active by frenetically preparing what potentially could become a war. It can be argued whether Cold War ever bursted out in armed conflict. We had a comment last time by Kendall Gears, who said actually the war between Soviet Union and their countries and the United States was actually fought in Angola. So there's still a lot of work to be done when it comes to the history of the second half of the 20th century or post-World War II. However, it was no longer two states pointing guns at each other or getting into armed confrontation, but groups of states, and the conflict actually spread around a much longer period of time. This was our point of reference because many theories actually refer to current state of global warfare as a slight reorientation of the concept of war from Cold War, but a radical difference from how international law defines war. We have wonderful guests today. We're first going to speak to artists. It's Yang He Chang and Mark. Heavy Industries will be first making their presentation of their work and their point of view on the issue. Then those who've been here more often know that we leave 5 to 10 minutes for urgent questions related to their presentation. And then I'll invite John Snyder, artist based in Berlin, to speak. Again, 5 to 10 minutes for urgent questions for himself. Then we take some 10-15 minutes break for drinks. And we hopefully all return here to listen to a presentation and a talk by Victor Misiano, curator and writer based in Moscow. And then I'll invite all our guests today to join at the panel and offer floor to all of you. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming, and the floor is yours.